Welcome to Prime Space, a Prime Coaching Academy podcast with your host, Elias and My dear coaches, we are here again, and you're going to be very happy because I'm not alone. My good friend, Amy Donovan, is here. Hello, Amy.
Hello, Elias. I'm back.
It's always wonderful to have these conversations with you. Today, coaches, we thought that it would be nice for us to go back to basics. I've been talking so much about these concepts of coaching for such a long time here in all of these wonderful philosophical aspects of coaching. And perhaps I thought it would be a good idea for us to get the beginner's mind and go back to basics. And the question that I would love for us to entertain here, Amy, is what is coaching? And this is, it's simple. It's a simple question, but I think that this is going to be a wonderful conversation, not only for new coaches or someone that don't know anything about coaching, have never done any coach training at all, but I think this is going to be interesting even for the very experienced coach. So, Amy, what is coaching?
Well, let me first say, I think also this is a timely conversation because we really, and I just want to say, in the first few years of coaching, for those of us who were around then, I dreaded this question because you could never capture the power of what really transpires in a well-crafted and well-done coaching session. And so we were always struggling to find the words to speak to that. But then moving into becoming a coach educator, we have to talk about this. And so over the years as a coach educator, and I think you've probably learned this too, is we keep getting deeper and deeper into the definition of what this really is. And as more research is done on it, and we start to see the impact of coaching around the world and multiple cultures and all these things, we're beginning to articulate it in a way that does capture the depth. But I'm glad we're doing this podcast because it really does need to be talked about more now, because I think there's a lot of misunderstandings about what coaching is as well. So we hope to clear some of those up in this podcast today as in our time together. What coaching is, or what is coaching was your question. Coaching is a process of discovery, first and foremost. We are a discovery partner with the people that we coach. And I think that gets confused sometimes, that we aren't so much of a discovery partner as a solution partner.
This is so amazing, and I think that we are hitting here like one of the core foundational aspects of this process. We are so prone, and we say this in coach training all the time. We are so well domesticated, I love to use that word, into problem solution. Yeah. This is the situation here. What are we going to do about it? And we have been rewarded and rewarded throughout our professional and personal lives to have the answer, to solve the problem, to fix things. And here comes coaching, and we are widening the gap between what is the situation, what is the issue that we are experiencing now, what is the moment, and what is the solution. We're in coaching, we are widening the gap so that we stay in that space of exploration, in that space of discovery. And we do this not to delay the process, because that's not the idea. We're doing this to make the process faster, because by staying in that space of discovery, then our clients are going to have the opportunity to come up with what is next for them in a much more solid and in clear way, instead of jumping immediately into a solution.
Yeah. But it feels so good when you can solve something for somebody. It feels like, as the coach, you could feel like, oh yeah, we really did something today. Discovery is just kind of this void you go into with your client, and it's really hard to train your mind to give up that great feeling of solution for discovery. But the thing I want to point out here, Elias, is when I first said this, it was about being a discovery partner. And I think the word partner is just as important as discovery.
Well, I think that you just mentioned this right now. You know, there is this feeling good that, oh look, I must be good because I have an answer for you, I have a solution for you, I have an experience, I am experienced in this, and therefore I am sharing this with you. Or I must be good. There is an ego trip that can happen in that moment. But what we need to realize is that by doing that, we are losing the partnership. Because partnership is truly this a partnership of equals, understanding that in the moment of this conversation that we are having with a client, it's not about what I know or my experience, because my experience and what I know is just one perspective. And if I am so attached to my own knowing and my own experience and my own brilliance, I am actually narrowing the possibilities for my client, because then we are focused only on one possibility, the possibility that I perceive, my own perspective, and I'm not giving my client the option, the opportunity to create their own perspective, their own way of seeing the situation from a different point of view that may be something that I never considered.
Yeah. Yeah, and I said it was timely earlier that we're having this conversation, because I think there's there's a lot of people out there calling themselves a coach these days, and I think when we talk about this, we need to make the distinction that we are talking about what is coaching in the frame of professionally trained coaches. And going back to this solution thing of coaching to solution, there's a lot of coaching results versus people going on for people who haven't had proper training as a professional coach, thinking that is what coaching is, leaving a lot of clients, stakeholders, etc. in the coaching chain thinking that is what coaching is. We coach results. We get results through coaching. Results in coaching are a byproduct of the discovery process.
This is an important point here. It's a byproduct. We are not focused on the solution. We are not focused on the result, but we trust that by staying in this space of discovery, the client is going to arrive at an answer, at what is next for them. That in our job, in our expertise, because people may ask this question, so if I'm not there to give an answer, if I'm not there to solve the problem for my client, so what is the client paying me for? Well, the client is paying me for my expertise in facilitating that discovery moment. And this is what coach training is all about. And this is what is the importance of going through a professional training process around coaching, because it's the need, regardless of how much experience and how much knowledge this particular professional has. We are getting trained into how to facilitate the conversation for the client to go through this process of discovery, regardless of how much I know.
Yeah. There's a I think another distinction we need to discuss here too. There's a lot of folks out there who are doing mentoring versus coaching and calling it coaching. And I think that we need to kind of suss that out as well, that there is a distinction between mentoring and coaching, and that first of all, it's not a partnering, it's a hierarchical relationship to start with. But secondly, it's also the mentor is imparting their experience, their knowledge, their bias, and everything that comes with it.
That's such an important point. This idea that in the mentoring process, the focus and the reliance is in the mentor's experience. So there is a lot, the spotlight is on the experience of the coach. And in coaching, the spotlight is in the process of the client and relying on the client's experience and in the client's development and in the client's moment of thinking and processing whatever is happening in this situation. So this is a good distinction for us to have here as far between mentoring and coaching. Mentoring, the focus is on the mentor's experience. Coaching, the focus and the spotlight is on the clients, in the client's process, in the client's thinking moment.
Yeah. And you just said the T word, thinking. It's another aspect of what is coaching. It's really a container of time and space we give our clients to think for themselves. What do I think about this? What is coming up for me? This is what's happening with the client versus always trying to deal with all these outside sources. It's what's coming up from you within you that the professional coach facilitates that and is able to take that process with the client, the new things they discover about themselves, the new way they look at things, the new perspectives they have, and to be able to transfer that new thinking, that growth thinking, into action, into the results. Again, this is why we call it the byproduct of what we do in coaching is the results.
Another title that we can give to the professional in the coaching conversation, instead of simply calling this person a coach, this professional is also the thought partner. Yeah. We are skilled in supporting this client into this thinking process. So we are a thought partner in their thinking, in their processing of that particular situation. So the thought partner is, to me, a beautiful way to describe what we are doing with the client. And our expertise is not, I say this again, not on the subject matter. Our expertise is not on how much experience we have on that particular topic. This can be very valuable and wonderful in many different processes as a consultant, as a mentor, as a teacher. There are many ways that my experience can be valuable. When we are talking about coaching focused on the standards designed by the International Coaching Federation and all that the coaching community has studied and developed throughout the past 3 decades, is this idea that my expertise is in how I facilitate that moment of thinking and that moment of processing that the client is going through. That is what we learn in coach training, and how important it is for us, if we are going to call ourselves a coach, that we have that expertise in facilitating the conversation.
So glad you punctuated that again, because you just kind of went over it fast, and I can't stress that enough. I completely echo what you just said.
I hope that everybody, that you are noticing and you're listening to this podcast, and I hope that if you are new to coaching, that you're beginning to get a sense of what is coaching and what is the distinction of coaching and what is unique about coaching from mentoring, unique about coaching from consulting, unique about coaching from therapy or teaching or facilitating or whatever it is. There is something unique about this practice of coaching that oftentimes is misunderstood. But for you, who is also the experienced coach, how these concepts are alive in your mindset every time that you interact with your client. How much of the ego is showing up that all of a sudden we start perhaps relying too much on our experience, on our knowledge, and we are crowding the space, cluttering the space of our clients' thinking moment with our own stuff. And perhaps we can put ourselves or take a step back to give even more space and facilitate that space for the client to think. Amy, any final words?
No, I'm just, we could go on for hours, but I think that we've done a pretty good job here giving this kind of overview of what is coaching, the age-old question.
Thank you, Amy, for showing up here today. And of course, we are going to have Amy back many, many, many times. And coaches, if you have any questions, or if this conversation here somehow sparked some ideas in you and that you would like to share, please email us. Amy at primecoachingacademy.com, Elias at primecoachingacademy.com, and we will be glad to have more conversations with you as well. Don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to share these episodes with your fellow coaches and perhaps with some of your colleagues as well. Otherwise, everybody, I will talk to you next time.